everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to those who are new here. Yeah, I've got another FlossTube video for you guys. I think it's been about two weeks-ish, and I've worked on, I think, every piece. I've only got 5, I say only, I've only got 5 of them on the go at the moment. But I also wanted to share a couple of tools that I'm actually finding really handy right now. So, the first one is this one, which is just off Amazon. It looks like a like a little cover almost for a tablet or something, but basically when you open it, it's got these 3 sections, this piece being like so, and it literally just stands up. You don't have anything to like grip it or anything, it just kind of grips to itself. But what I like about it is that it has these little magnetic pieces. So this piece is all magnetic, and then the ruler as well. So if you have your chart or pattern on here, you can I use the ruler just to kind of go down each row as I'm working on it, and then these ones I just kind of move about as I'm moving down the chart. So I love this thing. It's actually really handy. I use it on a lap tray like an old dear. On a lap tray in the lounge. I've got an extra light, and then I put this on the tray, and it's actually easy for me to see the pattern while I'm working on it. Yeah, so I thought I'd share that. It is off Amazon. I think it was about £13 maybe. So not super expensive, but it's really nice. I really love it, and I use it all the time, every time I do something. The next thing is a much chunkier thing. So it's this, it just fits in here. There are basically, there's basically the base piece. It's really nice beech wood, I think it is. Beech or birch? Beech. I think beech. Anyway, solid wood. It actually comes with 2 of these arm things. That looks similar. The other one has another groove in here for the other side, and you can put there's an extension pole, if you like, which has like a plaque on it that you can then clip your pattern or chart to. But I find that that's kind of, it's too far back for me, like my eyes can't do that, so I use this thing instead. I find that much more useful for me. And then the reason I've now popped one on here, or left one on, so you've got this runner, you can put it, decide where you want it, and then screw it in place. So it's just got a screw at the bottom, so you decide where you want it. But the reason I'm going to try it again like this is because I don't know why it's warped. It wasn't warped when I first got it. My dog's probably drooled on it or something. But basically you have these little connectors. The one on the left here helps you loosen this part, so you can then maneuver this area. This one has these little clamps, you can see there, and what goes in there is your hoop. You will need a hoop for it. It will open up quite wide, so if you've got like a nudge or something like that, or one of the plastic ones which are kind of chunkier, you can still open it up fairly wide to get it in there, and then you would just, it's a bit weird doing it when I'm watching through the camera, but you would then just get it in place, something like that. And then you could either work with it as is, like straight in front of you, or you can angle it using the side piece and get it to the angle that you want, and then tighten that up, and then off you go. So I think it's a useful tool, and especially if you get if you stitch in hand a lot and you get a lot of cramp in your hand. I'm finding that's partly an age thing, but I do love stitching in hand, but I also love stitching with a hoop because it's nice, the fabric's nice and taut. So when you're using a hoop, you still have to hold on to it, and that sometimes, especially like my joints and stuff in my fingers and my hands, sometimes that can be, it's that specific like angle that you're holding, if that makes sense, that it tends to get a bit sore. So I thought I'd retry this without the other arm here, because then I've got more free movement, because my arms kind of flail about when I'm doing stuff. So if I haven't got the other arm on there, at least I can still put this in there, and it can hold it for me, and then I can just focus on the stitching itself and not worry about trying to hold something, or even the fabric, and sort of get a bit sore. So the other thing I thought is, and I did try this, but that would work better if I was like literally on my desk, is to actually turn this around so this piece is facing outward, and then I'd have to have it on my desk, see, where this would be the opposite way round, and then you could have it straight in front of you, if that makes any sense. But then you wouldn't be able to maneuver it this way, if that makes some sense. Anyway, I think it's a useful tool. Again, this is off Amazon. I think this was about 30 quid or something, but it is solid wood. So, and I will, it takes a bit of getting used to. I think that's why I'm trying it from doing it this way. So I will try that hopefully today, but you never know. You never know. I will do that at some point. So let's get on to stitching. So if you remember the Scream by Edward Munch, there's a lot of confetti. It's a full coverage piece, which I do love the full coverage, but I'm finding them quite tricky to do. And I get tired of changing the colours all the time. So yeah, I haven't mastered the whole parking your threads or whatever it's called. So I definitely don't know. Like, I just do one colour at a time. But this is how far I've got. I kind of got bored with this main bit here was where we were last time, and then I just carried on with some of these orangey, brighter orange colours, but I literally went, is it cross country, is that what they call it? I just went straight across down to where it was. I thought, this is how I'm going to do it, and everything's going to be a mess. I'll show you on the back. But then I got bored with that, and I sort of thought, right, I'm going to go up the pattern now. So this area here is all the next bit that I did. So that is sort of here, where I've worked on. So I've sort of done these two. When you're looking at the actual pattern, you know it's in blocks of 10. So I've worked kind of on these two blocks, and now I'm working up here. So yeah, so I'm getting there. This is just white Ada. This is 14 count Ada. I will tell you as I go, even if I've said it before, because it's helpful if you've not watched some of the previous videos. But yeah, so I'm getting there with it, but very slowly. So but hey, it is what it is. Then the next one, and this is my love. I love this book. You guys know this from the last video. I love it, I love it, I love it. And so I am still working on my Easterween. I didn't do very much, but you know, we'll get there. So this is the pattern, or the piece, the whole piece, and nothing but the piece. So I started working, I think I put something like the Minions 4 on or something. I didn't even know there was a fourth one, but anyway, I popped that on the background, and then I started working on the sort of top part, because both words, the Happy and Easterween, are both in like two-tone, so it's kind of like a ombre kind of thing. So I've started with the light version, which you can see here, I'm working through now. So this is the tops of the Easterween, and it'll curve round like so. So that's as much as I did, only this bit. I think the rest of this I had done before anyway. Oh, I did fill in his eyes and his nose with some black DMC. But yeah, most of these threads are also my no-name brand ones, as I said before. So yeah, so that's all I've done on this one. This is Ada again. It's 14 count, and it's black. That's just the colour name. I know that's obvious because it is black, but you know how some of them have different names. So yeah, so that's that one. I don't know where to put everything. Right, what I didn't show you on the screen, just quickly, is the back. So I didn't cross country it. I ended each one and then carried on the top there. I thought I cross-countryed, obviously didn't. Well, that's not bad, is it? Right, so this one, it's okay, hubby knows about this one now. He's fully aware that I was never going to finish this by his birthday. I think we might be lucky if he gets it at Christmas. So, yeah. And hopefully if I can get it finished, then I will actually frame it and do something nice for him. But but this is the Starry Night by Vincent van Gogh, or Van Gogh. And yes, again, there is a lot of confetti in this thing. And a lot of blue. So many blues. I have no name brands, so I've got to be very much aware of my colour changes, like what I've swapped them out for with the no name, what I'm calling my no name brand. And so yeah, I've just got to be very much aware of that. But I will show you how far I've got. I've just got it rolled up here. So this is this is how far I've got. I have bought a new pen because I actually thought with the full coverage ones it would be better to stick them to grid them, just to help me, because they are so, like, there's a lot, and if I'm working on one colour and I'm just going all over the place, as you'll see on the back in a bit, then yeah, it's kind of tricky. So this is where I've got to. Same as with the Scream, I just decided that I was just going to go, right, this is the colour I'm working on, right, where am I going? And that's also when I started putting the grid in, but you can see this grid's already started to fade. So I've got a new pen. This pen that I used, believe it or not, is probably from before my time, and it's still going. So it was in my mum's old sewing box, so yeah. Talk about old stuff lasting. So yeah, so I've worked on some of these little blue, lighter blue, and then this is the sort of tree, is it? Yeah, like a tree thing, this thing here. So we're still really very much up here. So there's those two stars, there's the two there, and the star of this thing. So the light blue to do the swirls is what I've started working on there. And then I went back to working in, like, to get it so I could see where the end was, like how big it was. I did measure this, unlike the Scream. I didn't I winged that one, but I actually measured the piece I needed. And so I then started working across from, I think I'd got to about here, and started working right across there. And I really wanted to get the moon done, which I did. It's not too bad. It does have 3/4 stitches, and with Ada that's really tricky to do because you have to literally punch through. So if you look at Ada, it's got specific blocks, so for hole stitches it makes it really easy because you just go from one corner to the next one of the block. So you go straight across the little square where you've got 4 holes. With the 3/4 or the quarter stitches, you have to punch through that solid bit in the middle. So something like even weave, like a 28 count even weave, is the equivalent to a 14 count Ada, which is what this is, would be better for something that has those stitches in. But obviously at the time I didn't know what I was doing, so note to self. So yeah, because then you would have, instead of having just the 4 holes like you do for Ada, where you go from one corner to the other, you would then have 9 holes in that same size area. I'll do a separate video on that to try and explain that better. But if you see the block down here, so with Ada you've got a hole in each corner, so you've got 4 holes for your thread, and you would go across there, and then you would go across there, and that would make your cross. With even weave on, say, a 28 count, which is the equivalent to a 14 count Ada, you would have 1 hole there, another one in the middle there, 1 there, and then you would have a middle one there, 1 in the middle, and the cross. So you'd have 3 rows of holes to create your 9 holes. So if you wanted to do a half stitch or something, or a quarter stitch, you could go from this corner in there, and that would be a quarter stitch. If you needed a 3/4 stitch, you could go across there, and then you could go just this half here. So yeah, so for the moon it did cause me a bit of issue because I couldn't see what I was doing either, so I was a little frustrated with it. But up close it looks worse than what you're seeing on camera. But you live and you learn. Anyway, this is, like I say, a 14 count piece of Aida, and it is an ivory or cream piece. I thought that would look nice, although it's a full coverage piece, so you won't even see it. But anyway, and this is how I cross-countryed right across to do the little blue bits. So this is what I mean by cross-country. You got like lines of thread, because I'm just jumping from like here or from here to here. So at the back there's then thread going across. So that's, I think that's all that means. But yeah, I'm working on it. I think it's going to be good to keep going with it. I just roll up the excess depending where I'm working, and then I've got these little, these are just like sewing clip things, and I just clip them on there, and it just helps me hold it. Being a smaller piece of fabric, it means it's quite easy for me to hold on to while I'm working, because I'm right-handed. So that's that one. This one, I love this one. So this is a Spooky and Sweet. I decided, I can't remember if I don't know if I had this one in the last one, so this might be like a new start that I've done. Can't remember. So I'm gonna have to watch my own video. But this is a Spooky and Sweet. This is it was a stitch along with a fat quarter shop, and so now you've got the thingy bobs, the downloads. There's some of them, obviously not all of them are free downloads and stuff, but this one is the thing I liked about this, the fat quarter shop patterns or charts, is that, and I think I said this in the last one, but they give you the DMC and the number of skeins you need, and then it also gives you the Classic Colorworks, which I think is an American brand, and the number of skeins you'll need for that. In those colours, it gives you colours, and DMC has numbers for their colours, if that makes sense. And then it also, which makes it easy if you don't have either of those brands, you just have the colour name. So, you know, dark purple, light purple, pink, that kind of thing. And then you can just use that colour will then be, and symbol will be in the pattern when you're actually working with it. The other thing I love about their patterns is that you will get this page, you'll get a full, like all of the whole chart, if you like, and then what they do is they actually break it into quarters, and then each page you will then have an enlarged version of each quarter. So much easier to read when your eyesight's not like mine or like mine is. So much better, so much better, so much easier to see the different things. And like I say, when I'm working with my little blue thingy, I can just use the ruler and go down each row, and it's so easy. So let me show you how far I got, because I can't remember if I even did this one last time. I decided to use, I don't think I did this one. I don't think I showed this one. Right, okay. So this is kind of a new stock, and now it's a WIP. So you can see I've had my ring, my hoop. So this is a piece of purple. I think it's just purple. I think that's just the name of it. But it's like a lavender, a dark lavender maybe. This is also 14 count Aida, and it is by KCS. I also got that off Amazon. All my fabric so far has come off Amazon, but I am looking on based on referrals from you guys at other places to have a look for it. So it might be a little cheaper as well. So the called for, I don't know if you can see here, this border is actually orange, or like one of the darker orange. I didn't have enough of that because I'm using so many of my no-name brands for flosses for other projects. So I decided to put a green one on instead, the dark green. I've got more of that than the orange. And then, yeah, this is how far I've got. So this, I'm still working. If you can see the border here, this is like the first quarter of the pattern. So it's up here. So I'm still working on that. There's a bit of this sweet here that I've got to fill in, and there's a bit more of the white for the ghosty, but I've done his eyes, you know, his hat and all that already done. So I just thought it'd be quite cool on the purple. This one called for a charcoal dyed effect, 14 count Aida from Fabric Flair, and so I didn't have grey, so but I had this purple, so I thought, hey ho, And look, that's pretty neat, but it's a lot of block colour, if that makes sense. Like there's a lot of the same colour that you're doing. It's a lot of white, it's a lot of black. So bear that in mind for this kind of project, but I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. So that's that one. And then the last one, I'm also very excited about this one. Again, it's another Fat Quarter Shop one. I wanted to start a Christmas one. This one I had started last time, so this is in the previous video. But if you can see here, same thing as the previous one. This middle block, obviously they put it onto a fancy tray and stuff, but this sort of creamy area here, that's the pattern. So I'm worked on, I think last time I had this first quarter, I'm now in the second quarter here, and so this is where I'm at with it. So it's suddenly coming together. This little blighter. When I did the first quarter, like I say, they blow up the each quarter for you so it's easier to see, but they also leave an overlap so you know where you are in the pattern. Very handy, but I was an idiot, and so when I was doing, there's about 3 rows down, if you like, columns if you like, of stitches this way that are still in that first quarter, so I decided to do them this way. So I landed up with part of where the tree was going to go near the bottom here. But then when I started working on this quarter, the second quarter, I thought, oh, it's easier for me to stitch across like this. I don't know what I was thinking doing it that way. So I carried on like that, and I got almost all the way down here. And I had to frog the entire freaking thing because my tree suddenly wasn't going to line up. And so I was basically an entire row, or 2 rows, down from where I should have been. Yeah, I don't know what I was looking at. So I think even though there was the overlap, I think because of how I stitched it, it didn't work out. So I may not do that for them. So where they overlap, where there's like a half something in the next quarter, the words that, like the lettering and that is not so bad, but things like this where there's a bigger like more solid area, or with something like this where it's, you've got to get those lined up. I may just start that when I'm on the next quarter, if that makes sense, rather than starting a bit and then waiting till I get there. So I finished this entire dude. I did all the letters and I finished the rest of the word for this quarter, and I'm working through the little what's it called, the little mitten. So I think I have the rest of that mitten and the like string, no, you know what I mean, the thing that ties them together, and then I don't know if this whole mitten falls in that quarter, but most of it should. So really chuffed because that one I got quite a bit further. This is also KCS, and it's the 14 count Ada. It was 3 in a, it came in like a long roll, but it was 3 different colours, and I just thought this was a nice colour for a Christmassy sort of thing. There's a darker caramel colour, so I think that'll be nice for something else, but I can't think what yet. But this is 14 count again. I've got a lot of 14 count at the moment just to get back into it, and I really love it, but it can look a bit pixelated when you see the end result. So I have recently bought some DMC. I've never used it before, but DMC, I want to say it's a 28 or 32 count, I can't remember now, and it's like a pale blue. It's really pretty and it's super soft and I love it. That's the other thing, Ada's very stiff. This one, these aren't so bad. So the KCS is actually not that bad, like it's quite soft. And Zweigart, I haven't started working on that yet, so but that's very soft and I like that as well. So I may eventually just stick to Ada, but I'm going to try the DMC one. It's an even weave linen, or linen. Yeah, I've heard mixed reviews on working with it, but it is super soft, so it'll be easier in hand stitching. But like I say, this KCS is, you know, it's been really nice fabric to work with. So that's my lot for today, or for this week. Yeah, I hope to get some more stitching in today, but we'll see We're doing like big roast dinner like you do on a Sunday, of course. So yeah, so I hope this was fun, guys. I hope the tools that I use on a daily basis, I hope that helps as well, because when you're new to it, it's kind of a little overwhelming. There's so many things, and you know, but you have to kind of find what works for you and what fits for you. Yeah, and I will keep you posted on all of these. I already have another bug to start something else. So we'll see what else I can start. I don't know, maybe actually maybe my limit is the number of bags I have, because I don't have project bags. I don't have another one, so a spare one. Oh, I could use that one that's over there. Oh, you see, making a plan already. Anyway, so until next time, guys, have a great week. I hope it is a positive one all round. If you know, you know. And yeah, I will be back in a couple of weeks probably. I mean, I'd like to try and do one a week, but I think you'll see more progress if I do it once every couple of weeks. And yeah, until then, I will see you guys later. Bye for now.